Hello, Ketaki. Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Uh, Hi. So, Ketaki, before we start recording this, I'd want to, make sure that you get introduced to our audience. So, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm Ketaki Gokhale, and I'm a psychologist working in the field of mental health since the past 6 years. And as a mental health professional, my aim has always been to strive and create awareness about mental health, which of course we'll be talking in our session
Session.
today, and to bring about a positive change in a person's life. Because if your mind is healthy, then everything is healthy.
Perfect. Perfect. Uh, so, Ketaki, I just want to know when this thing has happened to you. Like, when did you want to be, to be a psychologist as such?
So when I started, so basically I took up arts in my 11th grade. The reason being I was always attracted to artistic, to creative fields, and something I wanted to do something innovative. That's the reason I chose art. I took psychology as my subject. Of course, I was aware about it, but when I started studying that in depth, and I understood the magic of that subject and what impact it has on an individual's life. And then I thought that can I just make it as my career? And because I like to help people, as in when I have seen that whenever my friends come to me for their doubts, I'm able to solve them. And they also say that we are very happy with the way you taught us, or very happy with the way you solved our queries. So I thought that why not take up a career in a field where I can help people and bring a smile on their faces, bring about a change in their perspective. So that's when I did my bachelor's in psychology. And then there was no looking behind, there was no looking back. I was just involved with this subject of psychology. I did my master's in psychology, and then I said I now want to work as a counselor. And from 2016 until 2022, I have seen myself growing as a psychologist, as a mental health professional, understanding different issues that people come with, different personalities that we come across, the rigidity or the mindset that a person carries when they visit a mental health professional. I've seen it all, and I know I shall continue to help people mentally and emotionally throughout my practice.
Right. So, amazing things, first of all, making sure, knowing at least, that psychology is something that can help people because it's a complete different profession. When we talk about different professions, and it's like a complete different profession wherein you understand people, there's empathy, there's many things that goes on to be a psychologist as well. So, have you personally ever had been in a situation, or, did you think that you also needed this kind of help somewhere in your life?
Yeah, there was a time in my life, because ultimately we say that we are human beings,
Correct.
and we also go through a lot of up and downs. And before becoming a counselor, we need to counsel ourselves. We need to have our emotions in place. So that's what we were told when before we started our counseling practice. This was told by a professor that do not hesitate to seek professional help for yourself as well, even though you are a work professional. So of course there were a lot of ups and downs in my life. There also came a phase where I tried counseling myself first, because that's when it's like always love yourself first, prioritize yourself first. Only then can you impact, or then can you bring a change in another person's life. So of course there was a time where I have a lot of my friends and my loved ones, and who are there for me. And whenever I go through any kind of up and down, they are like my therapist, is what I can say. So a therapist need not generally be like a therapist. Even if you talk to your friend or a loved one, or a go-to person, that also makes you feel better, that also makes you a little better, feel better. And there goes the saying that a counselor also needs a counselor. So of course, yes, I have also been talking out and venting it out, so as to make myself feel better.
Right. Ketki, you have mentioned about the go-to person. You have mentioned about the go-to person. Of course, what do you think? Like, how important is having a go-to person? What is the importance of having a go-to person?
I feel you you need to have a person with whom you are confident about, whom you find solace in, whom you trust a lot, that okay, whenever I'm going through anything, may not be just negative, also positive. Ups and downs are a part of everyone's life, so then there's someone to hear me out. Because there comes a time, or there may come a time where sometimes there are times where we feel left out, where we feel alone, that I just need to talk it out. And yes, I have a person. So I generally feel that it is necessary to have a person in your life where whom you can confide in, and trust that person, and just share. It's just like that. Even if something striking happens throughout the day, if anything striking happens, you have to just call up that person and say that, look, this is what has happened. And this is something which brings a smile on the person's face. So of course, a person can possibly needs to have a go-to person so that they feel better.
Right. So what do you think? Let's say there's a student, let's say there's a kid, there's a child for like who's like 15 years old, or let's say school kids basically. What do you think would be the best go-to person for them? Because right, the issues with them. Sometimes they don't confide it with certain people, or they just can't talk it out, or they don't talk it out. They avoid doing that. So what do you think for a kid, for a student of that age, let's say 14, 13, or 15 as such, who do you think can be the best go-to person?
I would say that, as you rightly pointed out, they might feel a little awkward, or
Right.
might shy. Whom do I share with? And because to get in trust, or to build trust in a person, it takes a lot of time. So I would rather say that either of their parent or their siblings, with whom they basically their loved ones, and the ones the person is surrounded with. Because these are the people he or she sees day in day out. And he or she might have that kind of confidence, and okay, fine, if I tell it to my mother or my father or my brother or my sister, they are here to hear me out. So if not anyone else, if not a friend, then of course we have our parents, or we have our siblings, with whom we can definitely share our ups and downs.
So talking about siblings, I know, right? There's this conversation is going on. I mean, you're just talking lots of things, and it's very interesting to actually have a conversation rather than have a question hour session or something like that. So you have mentioned about siblings. So could you tell me what effect do they have in your life? Do you have siblings, or what kind of effect do they have?
Yeah, so I do have an elder sister. And I share a very close bond with her. And I still remember the time when, so we have a 5-year age gap, and she's married, and now she's working, but thankfully she just stays 10 minutes away from my place. So then but I lucked out there that I can reach out to her within 10 minutes. So of course they do have a positive impact, and I have seen myself changing when I'm with her. And there were times when I was feeling low, and probably I was seeking out someone, that I just wanted to vent out, or I just wanted to have that person right besides me. I may not talk, or she may not talk, but I just want that person to just sit besides me. And I think that was my sister. And there was a day, I still remember, when we were chit-chatting in the night, and she just told me that, Ketki, whenever you feel like telling anything, or sharing, do not hesitate. I'm always there for you. And she's always stood like a pillar for me. So yes, of course they do have a positive impact. And there are, the sibling fights are there. There are disagreements, because there are people interacting, so there's going to be difference of opinion. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it can have a negative impact. It of course depends on the family environment, and the other factors as well. So I would say that having a sibling, either a brother or a sister, elder or a younger, doesn't matter, but then having someone of your own is something which is really a biggest asset, and I really loved out on it.
Right. So would you share any advice, or let's say the best advice that you have ever received from your sister, from your elder sister?
Well, there are many. So okay, so she always
I know it's a I know.
There are many, and she still keeps on giving me advice. I look up to her for any advice. So I'll just describe you a small incident. I mean, there are
Okay.
many.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So it's like that. I was out somewhere, and there are times where I need her around me when I'm shopping something or buying
Oh.
something for me. So that time she wasn't there. So I just called her up and asked her that, where are you? I was out with my mom. So I asked her that, where are you? I need you. I mean, I am not so good with color choices. Can you help me out? So she was on her way home, back home. So she was returning from office. So she's like, I'm on my way. I said, no, I don't know. I need your advice on that. I cannot go ahead without taking your advice. So I remember sending her photos of the two colors that I shortlisted, and I asked her that you better open your WhatsApp right now and tell me which color should I buy. So and she said that okay, go for this color. I didn't even think twice, and I just took it. So and another advice. So this was like an incident which I felt
Yeah, yeah,
like
sure,
sharing.
sure. Yeah, yeah, please.
I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
do that. I
It's
actually
a
still do that.
right,
Then
right.
I say that you just tell me. I call her up that is it okay? Is it better? Should I go ahead? So she tells me that Ketki, it's okay. You also have better choices. It's okay. You may not ask me. I said no. I need your validation at the end. To in some areas I still require her validation.
Yeah,
So another thing that she always tells me that. Ketki, do what you feel is right. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Please yourself first, impress yourself first, and then try and think what others say about you. Because what happens is, most of the times we see our world through others' lenses. That we are deeply impacted by what others think about us. So
correct.
initially, when I was a child, I still remember I used to get affected by all these things, and she was the one who stood like a pillar, and she told me that you just have to follow what you feel is right, and seek advice or seek help if you feel it's required, but otherwise try not to get affected by what others say about you. Because that's when we start evaluating ourselves, that if this person is telling me I am not so good at particular things, we start evaluating ourselves in every aspect. So she always tells me, and she till date tells me that do what makes you feel comfortable first. So she always tells me to prioritize myself first, and that's what I have been doing since a very long time. It's really helping me out, and I am in a profession which I say
You
that to
have
people that prioritize yourself first, because that's the magic, which is something which is unbelievable.
right. Keerti, this thing, log kya kahenge thing, what would people say, something like that. It's like a very big thing for the society nowadays. They all say this, they all come up with these kind of terms. And I think somewhere people, because we are talking about mental health, somewhere the stigma around mental health as well. It's not it's something very sacred or something people stop talking about it, or they get afraid talking about it, or they just try to avoid that kind of topic because they think that what would people think, or what would people say. So coming to this point, what are your views? How do we come to a place where everything is normalized, where mental health related issues are normalized?
The first step starts with acceptance. Acceptance that I am the way I am. I accept the way I am. I am very unique, because every individual that you meet is going to be different, is going to have different capabilities. So trying to weigh yourself with others or with others' capabilities is something that is always going to pull us down, because there will be some things which the other person can perform and you can't perform. So when, and specifically when it comes to mental health, it does affect you to another level, because you start emotionally piling up yourself. And there's a circle, there's a vicious circle that goes, that if you say, then I am like that, or if I say, then you are like that. And that circle, it just starts growing bigger and bigger. And then we start getting trapped in that circle, and we try to base our own evaluation on what others think. So I would rather say the first step is to start accepting yourself for the way you are, accepting how unique we are made, accepting your capabilities, and that is going to happen through self discovery, through observation. Okay, let's suppose if someone comes and tells me that Ketki, you sing well, but if I know that I may not sing well, then if I know what my capabilities are, then I need not get carried away that, let me
Right.
try just because I sang once very nicely or something like that doesn't mean that I might give it a try though, because someone is
Of
appreciating
course.
me. If
Of course.
that doesn't really work it out, I might just say that okay, fine, probably one fine day I was able to sing well, but that's okay. I mean, I'm okay with the way I am right now. But I would rather again point out that the first step starts with acceptance.
Right. Right. And does that mean that as a whole, like, society as a whole, I don't think we can actually change that. I think individually we can, and I guess that is where the whole society will change when we individually change. Because when everyone individually changes and thinks about that, thinking about acceptance, when they accept themselves, I think that is when the change comes. But there's this doubt. There are many organizations, there are many mental health related organizations. They are trying to create awareness, many things, many programs, many things. Then why is it still there? I mean, why is it still there? Why is the stigma still there? Even after these many people, tremendous people working on great things, subject like this, making sure that this gets into a streamlined era. And basically, I think this is the era of mental health where people are actually trying, talking about it a lot. So why is the change still not seen? Why is still, mental health was taboo, still a taboo?
Okay, so here goes that, I remember the times when I just started, just started taking that subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, because we were budding psychologists, and we used to talk to people day in day out. If we had any of our surveys, or any of our if we wanted to do that, it was out of choice. It was not being told to us by
Right.
anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So there was always a section of the society who would rather say that, okay, yes, we know that mental health is a priority, but when it comes to vocalizing your problems, a person takes a
A
step
back step,
back,
yeah.
that a back step, that I'm not comfortable sharing my problems. So here I always say to all my clients, or to all my patients, that when something physically goes wrong with us, let's suppose if we are experiencing an headache, stomach ache, or our leg is paining, we immediately go to our doctors and we get a
Correct.
medicine of 5-6 days, and then
Correct.
we come back, we take the medicines, and we are all fine. But when we are mentally down, we are having a breakdown, if we are getting irritable, if we are not able to focus well, we think that, okay, why do I need to go and visit a counselor? Who's a counselor? What's a counselor going to do? And there is this phrase which every person uses, that I am not crazy to go to a counselor.
Right.
So if we can prioritize our physical health, if we would want to get ourselves physically better, we need to also get ourselves mentally better.
Correct.
I will describe you a case wherein, so I was counseling a parent and a child who had come to me. The child was 14 years old and had behavioral issues. There was family discord. And I have observed that in specifically in parental counseling, either of the parent, maybe the mother or the father, is reluctant to come to counseling. They still feel that, why do I require a counselor? Why are you telling me how to train my child or deal with my child? How are you
Right.
telling me these things? So I still remember saying that to a father, where he was a little reluctant to come to
Right.
counseling. So I had to call him up, and I had to say that, sir, see, I am not saying that you are wrong. I'm not saying that you are not doing your parenting correctly, but I just wanted to say that, try these few things out. This might help you to improve the current
Right.
scenario in your house. And that was the time when, of course, there were numerous sessions which I had to take with the father to convince him why important it is for a person to develop a new perspective. That's what you need to tell people, that if you want to develop a new perspective, if you want your thought processes to be in a direction which you want it to be, you have to visit. Or if you're able to help yourself, if you're able to find things by yourself, that's all right. But if it's disturbing you, if it's affecting you, and it's showing its manifestation in majority of your areas of your life, then do seek a professional help from a counselor. And jitna aap physical health you prioritize, similarly prioritize your mental health.
Right. I think that is when the changes come. But I think it will take time. I really think it will take time. I mean, will take lots of time for people to understand, and the everyone to understand. Actually, I think it will really take
Absolutely.
lots of time.
Take a lot of time.
Yeah, because just as you told, like similar cases and all, even I have my friends, some friends that I talk to, and sometimes they do have issues, and they just call you up randomly, like whenever time they want to, and it's fine because they're friends. They just call up and they start
Correct.
ranting and talking about it.
Yeah.
But I think at a
Yeah.
certain point of time, they should realize the fact that not just wasting time, because I think a session with me, let's say if someone's talking to me, I might not be that good enough to help them out with certain issues, certain mental health related issues. At the same time, let's say he called you, or let's say you are counseling. I think there's a huge gap between that, and I think there's a process, the whole time thing that happens with me, the time taking process. I'm sure they'd heal somewhere if the issue is minor, but the time that's taken, I think that's where the whole problem starts, because sometimes people waste years and years of things on certain issues, and actually lose themselves in the whole process, and at the end they're just empty, and the whole thing that just doesn't happen to them, and they just become reluctant to even talk to the society. They just keep themselves down
Correct.
inside, and it's very hard for them,
Correct.
even for their loved ones. Again, they just slowly start deviating from that. So how do we address
Correct.
these kind of problems? Okay.
So there have been numerous cases where they say that no, my loved ones felt that I should visit a counselor. That's why I've come into you. Now I don't know how is this process. I don't know what are we going to talk about. So you tell me what is this entire process about. So firstly, as I told you, when you know that you have a problem, we of course talk it out. Even if something physically goes wrong with us, even if we experience a headache, we go and tell either of a parent, or we call up the doctor that, look, I have been experiencing headache for a couple of days, and you please prescribe me a medicine for that. So talking it out and venting it out, we of course do it. Every one of us do that, may it be for physical concerns, may it be for mental health concerns. We definitely do that. But when someone says that you have to visit a counselor, we have seen reactions on people's faces that counselor, me, I felt like sharing that with you, but I don't think
Right.
I should visit a counselor. Why do you
Mhm.
feel that I should visit a counselor?
Right.
So that's when that stigma sets in. And more so often, the family environment is something which does really matters a lot, because that is something which is going to help you shape your thought processes, help you shape your perspective towards particular thing. See, if the environment is quite open, quite honest, and quite straightforward in the house, then there would be and the communication is, there's no lack of communication, or there's no lack, or there's no discord in the family, that they're quite open and frank about their problems. It's quite difficult to find such a environment nowadays.
Right. Right. Of
But
course.
if there is one environment like this where people are really vocal, and see, self realization is something which is very important. Realizing by your own self that look, I have a problem and I need to visit a counselor, or I may talk to my friend, because I feel that okay, my friend might help me, but if not, let me just go and talk to a counselor. What happens is, I'll tell you, when a person visits a counselor, they feel that they have this fear, the word fear that I use. They have this fear that will I be judged, will my problems be made fun of. So let
Right.
me tell you, the word fear has two meanings. One is forget everything and run, and the other is face everything and rise. We are
Wow.
here to rise, and the hope that the person comes up with to a counselor, the counselor's responsibility being to ensure confidentiality, because if they are sharing certain things with you, they would not want to for this information to go out anywhere. That's
Right.
when a person will start trusting a counselor, because they come up with a hope that look, I want to solve my problems, and please help me out, because it is a very collaborative relationship where a client and a counselor work together. It's the
Right.
equal efforts of the both. And when you see that change happening in this person, there's a different outlook that the person has when because I have seen my patients when I usually give them a timeline of 7 to 10 days of the techniques that I give them to follow. And after a week, when I see their smiles and when I see their fresh looks or fresh faces, I feel grateful that I appreciate them. That look, it's you who has taken the efforts to change. I just had to give you a direction, and you have taken the efforts. So I would rather suggest a society to be quite more vocal. And I think our pandemic has seen people vocalizing more about their problems, because there were a lot of issues that people faced, in their personal life, in their professional life, job losses, or the education sector was
Right.
hampered. I have dealt a lot of cases specifically in the pandemic, people suffering from anxiety, people suffering from depression. That's when people started vocalizing about their problems. So I would want, or I would rather urge the society to come out in the open and to accept the fact that it's okay to be not okay, but it's not okay to not visit a counselor.
Right. Right. Nice. Yeah, that's a great message. I think I'd just make a small reel out of it. Just share it in the video. Yeah,
You
that's okay.
sure can.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll also
I'll
do the fear one, the fear, the thing, the analogy that you have shared. I think that's something.
Yeah.
So Ketki, let's say someone in our family, let's say someone, not family near and dear, loved ones. Let's say someone is going through an issue. Let's say someone is going through a mental health issue. How should we react? I mean, what's the right way to react? Because we just can't say them and directly go and visit a counselor. There has to be a process where you first listen out to them, and then what's the problem exactly, and then we have to do certain things. So, what do you think? How do we deal with that? I mean, how do we start the whole process of actually listening to them? From the start till making sure that they are actually seeing a counselor. What should our role be? Our role as the loved one.
Correct. So first role is of being an active listener, because when a person wants to share his or her concerns, the person would want to listen, would want you to listen to them, because and trying to understand from their perspective, probably not trying to place or give our own perspective when they are sharing our
Right.
problems. Because this is what happens is that we are very quick to react. That
Right.
If they're describing a traumatic incident from their lives, they're very quick to react, and we immediately give in our reactions, probably without hearing the rest of the part. So here I would like to say that use try to respond to the problem rather than reacting to the problem.
Right.
Reaction is quick and response takes time, because we think, rather than asking them that why do you think it's a problem for you. Ask them, can you give me some instances that you felt that this was a problem for you. Giving them a listening ear, being very empathetic in the sense, not trying to perceive that, okay, oh, even I was in that situation, not telling it to that person. We are here to give them a listening ear and hear them out, and
Right.
ensuring the fact that or rather pacifying them that don't worry, we will work out things, you shall be fine, you shall visit a counselor, but for now I wanted to say that you shall be fine. Because when a loved one confides in you, they again look for a hope that
Right.
a person is there to hear me out, the person is there to listen to me, to my concerns. So I would rather say respond rather than react. That's when we try and become active listeners, empathetic and not sympathetic. There's a confusion between the
There's a
word
difference.
empathetic
Right.
and sympathetic.
Right.
There's a huge difference between these two words. So being empathetic and trying to place yourself into that person's shoes, but and first and foremost, trying not to interrupt that person when they are discussing a concern, because that kind of if you try and break them
They
in
discourage
between,
them to share.
disconnects them.
Right.
They fuse off,
Right.
and they don't know, okay, fine, where was I did get lost. So listening them thoroughly and ensuring the best for them, and giving them a hope that things will be fine, and I shall take you to a counselor. So that is something which can be done. And of course I always vouch for it, that respond rather than react.
Right, right. So have you, in your entire experience as a counselor, have you been through a case that has been, so much, that actually took a toll on you? Because sometimes what happens is, you are a counselor, of course, but as you told in the beginning as well, counselors also need counselors. But you have been to different, you listen to different people, you try to help them out. But has it ever happened to you that you were so burnt out, stressed out, and you had to look for a counselor for yourself, something like that, because of the pressure that you have in general?
I would say yes, because when a person comes to you, as a as a client, and with the hope that my problems will find a way out, uh, you tend to get affected by that. Is because that there's a lot of kind of like I wouldn't say that the aura.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use the other word. I would want to say that, the vibe becomes completely
Mm-hmm.
different. The environment becomes a bit serious. And because you have to give them your listening ear, and the more important thing is trying to keep your emotions aside and
Right.
trying to focus on the client's emotion, it's something which did pose as a challenge for me at the beginning of my practice. I still remember that when I was interning at an hospital as a psychologist as a part of my master's. So there was this person who had come in for a follow-up case, who was under a psychiatric doctor, and the psychiatrist told me, just take a follow-up to know as to how is she doing and how are the medicines
Right.
creating an impact on him. So you generally start asking the case history, that I could just see the papers and what medicines were prescribed to her, and the case history just written in brief.
Right.
So I had to ask the client in detail that, please describe that to me. And this client, and specifically it was a family related problem that this person had. And so this person started uh, there were emotions going up and down, and I was in my head, I was trying my level best to focus on her emotions, and not my emotions. I had to keep my emotions aside because my focus is on the client. So after that follow up was done, I said that just give me a 10-minute break, because I need a break. I am a little piled up emotionally. I
Right.
need that kind of a break. I just went out, I took a walk for 5-7 minutes, and I came back, and then I drank water, and then I felt better. But yeah, it does take a toll on you emotionally and
Mhm.
mentally as well, because what happens is, when you have to suggest, or when you have to give solutions to a person, you kind of make a note down, you go through it again and again to see if some points are missed out. So you really require that break. So of course I have also encountered such situations. This was just one, there were a couple of them where I felt that
Mhm.
let me just put my screen off and go off to sleep or talk to someone so that I feel better. Because you feel, sometimes you tend to feel emotionally burdened as well. So yes, absolutely, I have encountered such situations in my life.
Right. Right. Great. All right. So, Keithy, I just want a little bit of advices, from you now. So let's say, I mean, you know that we are from Project C Foundation. We are a foundation that's trying to, do the same, create awareness and help people out with mental health related issues. And you must be knowing the kind of initiatives that we are doing, all of that. Do you think there's something that we can add, to, better to have an impact in a better way, in a more positive, better way?
Having more and more budding psychologists with you, the ones who are passionate about psychology and spreading awareness, because mental health is something which needs to be given importance, which needs to be given awareness. So conducting more and more such talks, making people aware about different issues that are still a part of the society, because we are here to destigmatize the society and all the negativity that is surrounding around the word mental health. So of course, having said that, mental health is it's not a destination. Mental health
It's a
is not a
practice.
destination.
Is it a
It's a,
practice?
it's kind of like a ongoing process where you
Right.
explore or you discover certain facets about yourself, maybe positive, maybe negative.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you very well.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry for that. Where did I?
There's something which are not in our hands, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, the connectivity. I don't know what happened. Just Wi-Fi got turned
No
on. Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Fine.
So we were
Absolutely.
talking about. Oh my God, these kind of conversations. Basically, when something like this happens, we just come out of it, like we zone out a little bit.
I'll remind you, don't worry. So yeah, of course, we were discussing about how you as a foundation can
Right,
add on more value to mental health. So of course,
right.
creating a lot of awareness campaigns. You do know that in the month of October every year, 10th, we do celebrate World Mental Health Day, and the whole week or the whole month is a mental health month. So having such awareness campaigns, having talks, writing different blogs about different issues, so that people are more and more aware, and providing counseling is something that you already are doing. So keeping up with that. And another thing is train your mind to be your best friend.
Train your mind to be your best friend. Okay. There are many things actually. There are lots of things that's, yeah, I mean, of course, you're a psychologist, and I expect, there are lots of things to learn, even for us, even for me, who's looking out or working in an organization. I think I should also have to learn many things. And it's a process. Whole thing, as you
Yes,
told, mental health is a process. It's not like a one day thing or something like that.
yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
So, Ketki, I mean, it was a great session, but before we end or something, I just want to know more about you. So, tell us, what are your hobbies? Because of course you're a psychologist, so I don't want people to think that because they have this notion, that okay, she's a psychologist, she might know everything, or she can just read you or something like that. They don't see you as, do they see you as normal people? Like, how do people around
Yeah,
you?
of course they do. Yeah, of course. I would rather say that I'm firstly a human being, then I'm a
Yeah, of course.
psychologist. So I
Right.
do. So if you ask my hobbies, uh, I love listening music, different kind of music. I love dance because I feel that's one of the best therapies you can ever have. That's like
Mhm,
my stress buster, one of my biggest stress buster.
mhm.
Uh, then another thing is, trying to, of course, help out people. That's also one of my hobby.
Right.
So it's like it's ingrained in me that whenever I get a call and they say, okay, Ketki, we require help, I said, yeah, come on, please tell me. So no, I am on my phone then.
Right.
And I at times I like to play sports,
Mhm,
and specifically badminton, swimming, and also at times cooking.
mhm. What do you
And
cook, Ketki?
I'm not, yeah,
What do you cook? Like, what's the best thing that you cook?
pav bhaji. That's
You
like,
do, you can
that is
cook that?
something. Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay, nice. Mhm. I know,
I
I
can.
don't know this kind of street foods, all the street foods, Indian foods. I think that it's better to go out and eat rather than make cook or cook. It's a
That's
very
true.
big
But of course,
process.
see, that's what I'm saying. If you're passionate, then nothing like it.
Right, it's a hobby,
Yeah,
so it shouldn't
then
be
the
asked.
process also seems to be very enjoyable. Even though it seems like a very long process, it does still seem very enjoyable. If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't
Right,
feel like doing it, don't feel like doing it, don't do it.
right.
So
And I
that's what
think
I
there's a
feel.
hobbies also play an important role in our lives, like
Of course you do.
right. And
Yes.
how much do you recommend everyone to have hobbies, that thing with them?
Um, Hobbies, I would say that hobbies are something which are self exploration, self discovery. You discover new facets about yourself. We try and see what are the things which we can actually do. So rather than trying to focus what I can't, focus on what I can. That
Right,
is something which will try to make you think, spend more time, spend quality time with yourself, pamper yourself, because that is something which is really going to uh, help you in the long run. So of course hobbies do play an integral part of your life, because that is something which, as I said, that is self discovery, and it is going to happen through observation. So keep your eyes open. You definitely are going to discover different facets and different sides of yourself. So keep on doing that. And another thing, like as an advice or as a suggestion, you could take, whenever you get up in the morning, just look at yourself in the mirror and give a very beautiful smile to yourself. Because our smile is one of our biggest asset that we have, and everyone has different smiles. So consider yourself as a unique human being, and just get up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror, smile wide as you can, and say that to yourself that my day is going to go good, because that's how we train our mind to be fresh, and train our minds to be with our own. Because as we say that our minds and body are connected. So if either of the switch goes off, something really goes off in us. So be vigilant about yourself, take care of yourself first, try to please yourself first, because of course you are important, and you deserve the best, you deserve the better. So just smiling at yourself in the mirror, and considering yourself that how beautiful I look or how unique I am, is something that is going to help you to keep focused and your mind fresh.
Right. I think I should do this like every time I bring or I do a podcast or something. I just ask what's the advice that you can give to people in general. It's a great advice, looking at yourself, smiling, and then it has an impact in your complete day, the whole day. Will definitely have. Yeah. So I'll just make sure. Thanks for sharing that as well.
Yeah, please go ahead and do that. I would urge almost everyone to do that. It's just a smile. You just have to get up and smile. You don't have to do anything else. It doesn't even take so much efforts to smile. So
rather, it's easy.
It's easy. You just have to just smile.
Yeah,
That's it. It's our biggest asset. We are very blessed to have a beautiful smile, and just look at yourself and admire that and appreciate yourself. And I remember the time. I won't take much time. I'll just give you just 2 minutes.
You can take as much time we have.
So I remember that I wanted to go to the office, and I was on my way. I took the bus, and I had to catch a particular time train, and I thought I'll get late. But by the time I was on the station, and I quickly ran, and there was just a minute for the train to leave, and I got inside the train, and the train left. I did really pat my back and appreciated myself that, yes, I was able to do it. But of course, at the back of the mind, I did think that if not this train, I have the other train, but let me try and catch this train. And I was able to do this. So I did appreciate myself, and that kind of releases happy hormones in you, and you feel better that you've achieved something. Achievements are achievements, let's not say it's a small achievement. Let's not say it is a big achievement. Achievement is an achievement. So anything you do that makes you feel better, appreciate yourself. That's it.
And I think we lack doing that. I think people in general, they lack appreciating themselves. It should be practiced in a way. Anything. It could be like, as simple as catching a train as well. Just be there.
Absolutely.
All right. I think the conversation will just go, so I just better end this here. So everyone, again, to our listeners, meet Katie, and anytime if you have problem, you can also reach out to her. We make sure that people know you. We'll just make sure people get connected to you easily because they have problems, since we're an organization working for that. So we'll see how we can do that, and let's make sure that, of course, I know you have made lots of people smile in all of your career, and let's say in the future also, the same thing happens.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and to spread awareness about mental health, because it's a topic which is very close to my heart, and I'm always happy to do that, and I shall keep doing it throughout my entire practice and throughout my entire life. So make mental health a priority.
And I hope I have been a good host. I don't know how. I just woke up. I'm just here and taking. I don't know. I just overslept.
Was I a good host?
Yeah.
Of course, you were a good host. So that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Believing in yourself. You were an excellent host.
Thank you. I just ask this at the end of every session. I don't know, it just makes me feel better when someone says that, yeah, you
Of
did
course,
great.
you are an excellent host. Of course, you are an excellent host. So keep
Thank
up
you.
doing that and keep on spreading more and more awareness about mental health. If you sure require my help, I'm always there. Do not
Definitely,
hesitate to reach me out. Please, please do
definitely,
reach me out.
definitely. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you and have a good day. Keep smiling.